For this for this session, we're going to look into building dynamic reports in Designer. So to build a dynamic report that is highly dynamic, the easiest way, if you're going to go to create visualization, to create some content. So in here, we're going to create a very simple tabular report. So to start with, actually, we're going to go for the retail database. So let's go for retail samples. So we're going to go for regular WF retail. So we're going to go for a tabular report. So actually, I want to get to a dynamic output format. So we're going to do it very highly dynamic. So we're also going to do some filtering. So we're going to do a sample filter on the product category, on the product subcategory. So that's enough on those. And actually, let's go for the store business region. So should be enough for now. So we have 3 filters in here dynamically. We have dynamic output format, but I also want to go for dynamic fields. So instead of dragging and dropping a field in here, I'm going to go for a parameter field list. So that's going to be my dimensions. Actually, of course, don't hit return. Select first where you want to get it. So you can put it into rows, which means it's going to go in here, which is going to be the by field, or column groups being the across field. So we're going to go for rows, and I can make it multi-select. Do OK. So you see it's ending up in here, and it's added a new bucket in here. So in here, I can now in that bucket add fields. So we can select whatever fields we want to. So I can take the category, subcategory, model, and let's go for a few more. So we're going to go for a few more. So you can change the order in here, by the way. So wherever you drop it, it's going to be the order of the element. So sorry, I dropped it on top of the model, so that deleted the model. So take a look at that line here. If the line is where it's going to put it. So you see it doesn't make sense here. So we're going to move the order here. So we're going to add my product model back in here after I deleted it. So if it's dark, it's going to replace. If it's a line, it's going to add. So I'm going to stay with those. I need the same thing. So I want to get for another parameter field list. So I want something like the measures. So I want to put that one into summaries. Again, it's going to be a multi-select. Got them. So now they're in here. So I got measures in here. So I can go to the measures block in here. So I want to get discount. I want to get gross profit. I want to get actually, I want to get quantity sold in here. So I can put whatever I want to in there. So as you see, it's always taking the first one from the list as a default. Of course, you can change that one. If it's done, save it. So that's my dynamic table. So now we can go back in here. We got our dynamic table. So we're now going to do a sample visualization. We're going to go for a very simple grid report here. We're going to put our dynamic table in here. I'm going to enlarge it. You see it's having required parameters, which are actually those 2 fields, the sort and the measure. So go over here, add the filters to a page. So now we got the elements. You see measures and dimension has no filter because they're actually set to be optional. So I can change them in here from measures in here from being optional to being, of course, not optional. So again, let me go in here. Those are not optional. Sorry, that one was supposed to stay optional. So you see they are not optional. Of course, you can make them optional, which is then going to take the first one automatically, which might be a good choice. You're not going to end up with a blank report. Personally, I also like in those situations, so not every change is going to refresh the report. So I'm going to add a submit button in here. And personally, I don't like a few things in here. So actually, if you click on that control, you can now change the control. So you can convert it. And I like the double list for fields, and I do the same thing for dimensions. I'm going to convert that one to be a double list as well. Why double list? Let me show you. So run it. So instead of having a simple drop down for picking up fields, you see it's missing the parameters because it's set to all. So we want to change or remove the all option here. So, but in here, you can now, there's nothing in here, but I can now select, I want to get discount. I want to get quarterly sold. You see, that's the order, but I can also, if in here, change the order, which is going to change the order of the fields in the report as well. That's why I'm using the double list control, because you cannot just pick values. You could also, of course, select them from here and sort them around, submit it, and there we go. So the all option might be not the best selection by default, so we might want to change that one. So if we go to my measures field in here, of course you see the same control type in here. So selecting the elements in here. By the way, if you're struggling selecting a field, so click on here, not on the field. In here, we can now scroll down. So in here, we see the definition of the fields. So you got options in here, so you can set the elements. If you don't select the right element, you might miss the parameters. Go to outline. You see, you can also select dimension here. So it's going to select dimension. So you don't have to click and figure out where you are. So in here, you can set the default value as well. So in here, instead of having nothing, I can set the product category to be the default. I'm going to do the same thing for the measure. So again, if you're annoyed about clicking here and not getting the right element, remember you have to click here or select it here in case you don't want to click. So same here, we can change that one to be on a default. So we're going to put discount to be the default, click OK. Maybe we want to change the order here because it's dimensions first, measure next. So change it. Take a look at it, and we're going to have a dynamic report to set fields as we want them to set. And you see we have default values. We have our output format here. So we might want to change the order here as well because it's a mixture here. So output format is somewhere in between. So let's go one more time back here. So change that one over here, change the output format to be here. If you don't like the buttons to be on top, change them to be centered. And that's actually it to build a dynamic report. In case you got some old hand-coded faxes that you want to extend to have the same functionality, you can simply go back to your report. Let me close that one. So you can simply go back to your report itself. So let me open up my dynamic table. And if you go to outline, right click on source code. You can simply borrow the code from here. The code for this dynamic fields are actually those two lines in here. So in here, those are the values. So you can simply change them or copy them from here. So it's those two lines plus there's a default for those values as well. So there is a default for sort field potential. You want to take them, but we didn't default them. But that's the syntax you want to steal. So relatively straightforward here on what you're going to be able to do. One more final thing in Designer. So if you have the dimension, if you don't like what is in there, again, remember to click here or here. And if you go to the settings and you scroll down, there's the source for that fax. So if you want to change the element, click on that pen. So it's going to take the code from the parameter, but you can also go to static in here and add your values in here if you want to. So if you don't like what Designer built for you, there you can change it. And that's it, how to build a quite dynamic page depending on your selections. Have fun.